What kind of baby swaps can you make to save money? I would swap out a bassinet for a crib. So oftentimes you're going to buy a bassinet and then you're going to transition them into a crib. Now there's other options, of course, like floor beds and whatnot. But if you're going the crib route, I would start with the crib from day one. You do not need a bassinet. Your crib can go in your bedroom with you, or say the crib is in the nursery, you can sleep in the nursery with the baby. I did so on a twin bed and it worked just fine for me. So skip the bassinet, start out in the crib. Sound machine, something we swapped was when we initially had our first baby, we swapped out a sound machine for an old cell phone. We realized our baby was having trouble sleeping. We had not yet purchased a sound machine. So instead of going out and making that purchase, we saved money and we used an old cell phone that we had in our home, plugged it in, downloaded a free white noise app, and we were good to go. It worked out great for us. So that was a money-saving swap. Instead of buying a full bedding set for a crib or anything like that, just get fitted sheets. My honest recommendation, I think you at least need 2 because vomits are going to happen, blowouts are going to happen, but I would recommend 3. And I would get at least 1 that is a satin or silk sheet. So that would be my swap, is don't get a full bedding set, only get fitted sheets. Again, 2 to 3, 1 at least that is satin or silk. The reason for that being satin and silk is more gentle on their hair. It can prevent bald spots. Oftentimes babies will get a bald spot in the back because they rub their head a lot in their sleep. And then also as your child's hair grows and they get older, so first you're preventing the bald spot, then you can prevent tangling. So that's super handy when it comes to brushing out their hair later on as they get older. Another one, I would swap out a diaper pail for a regular trash can. Do not register for a diaper pail. Oftentimes the refills are quite expensive and they're just unnecessary items. I will say if you live in a 2-story home and you change baby upstairs, you are probably going to want some sort of a trash can up there that is specifically for diapers, or a trash can that is frequently changed. But if you live in a single-story home, just walk to your kitchen, throw it in the trash, or just walk to a trash can that's in your maybe laundry room, or consider putting a trash can in your garage that is like right by the door. So it's super, super handy. You don't have to put shoes on and go out there. You could just reach over and toss it in there. So I would skip the diaper pail, find a trash can, and find a system in your home that makes sense for your environment. An item to skip would be a bottle drying rack. I think these are just plumb silly. If you dry your dishes in a dish drying rack that is like for adult dishes, just throw the bottles on there. If you don't do that anyway, okay, you can set a towel out on the countertop, throw all the bottle parts on there to dry. Or if you find that they're falling off, they're getting scattered, grab just like a large mixing bowl, throw a towel in the bottom of that, and then just throw all the bottle pieces in there, shake it around, and they can dry out. You don't need the specific baby bottle drying rack. I think it's cluttery on your countertop and it's an item that you're going to outgrow and then it's wasteful or gets donated or whatever. I just don't think it's a need. I would swap out owning 10 bottles and instead own 5 bottles. This one is a personal preference, of course, and I was a breastfeeding mama, but my experience around other children, I saw where moms learned that the fewer bottles they had, the more they stayed up on keeping track of those bottles and keeping those bottles clean. Now, if your child goes to daycare, you may need more because you have to send a specific number of bottles to daycare every day. So that makes a difference in your specific life and environment. But I would recommend overall owning fewer bottles. It means you will keep up on them better, keep track of them better, and not have at the end of the day or the end of a couple days, 20, 40 bottles to wash. That's a lot of work at once. So again, personal preference, of course. I would swap out buying or owning 10 cloth bibs for owning 2 to 3 silicone bibs. So once your baby is eating food around that like 4, 5, 6 month mark, I would not use cloth bibs. You have to throw them in laundry. It's something to wash. It means owning multiple because obviously they're going through multiple in a day, and how often are you doing laundry? Instead, I would recommend silicone bibs. I will make sure to link one in the description. We love them. We have 2 of them. We use one at home, and then the other one, baby goes to work with me. We keep at work. Depending on your situation, if they're at daycare, diaper bag at home, you may want 3, but that's all you need. After each use, you can just wipe them down. If you're at home, you often will just rinse it off in the sink. If I'm at a restaurant, I will get out a napkin and get it damp, or get out a single baby wipe and just give the bib a quick wipe down before throwing it back into the diaper bag. So again, they're super handy. You can just use them over and over again, and they're very simple to use. They also have like a food catcher type thing at the bottom, so less food ends up on the floor, which is also a great benefit. I would swap out a large freestanding high chair for a booster seat style. That is what we went with. Again, I've had experience at homes with nannying and babysitting where they had freestanding high chairs. I found them to be bulky, large, and I much more prefer a booster seat where the baby's sitting at the table with the family. It's a smaller footprint in the house. You already had that kitchen chair. You just put a booster seat in the chair. So it doesn't feel as cumbersome in your kitchen and in your home. So yeah, I would go that route for sure. When it comes to the kitchen and children's or toddlers' plates, I would not get a bunch of different types of plates. One that has 3 sections, one that has 4 sections, one that is a open, just circle plate, one that's a square. I would only get one type of plate and make them all be matching. I got mine at Target. They were super, super cheap. I think at the time they were like 69 or 79 cents a plate. I got a stack of 10 that were all the exact same color. They're like a mint green. I figured they could be used for boys or girls. Wouldn't matter. And every day when our toddler gets dinner, there's zero conversation about what the plate looks like. Now, there might be a conversation about what goes on the plate, but at least one decision doesn't have to be made. The plate is always the same every single night, and that makes life very easy. It also makes life easier in the sense of loading and unloading the dishwasher, putting them away in the cabinet in our kitchen. It's just one stack of plates. We're not trying to stack, a 3-hole plate onto a 2-hole plate and like they're spilling over and shapes aren't matching up. It is a perfectly round stack of plates, and I love it. Another swap would be, instead of getting an infant hooded towel for bath time, I would at least get a toddler hooded towel, try to get more toddler size. And if you want to be even more thrifty or more minimal, you don't need a baby towel. Just use an adult towel from day one. It's really unnecessary to get baby towels. An adult towel will work just fine. If you do want to get a children's towel, I recommend, again, toddler or children over newborn and baby. Look at the actual measurements on, say you get off Amazon. Look at those measurements in the description. If it's like 22 inches versus 36 inches or 48 inches, look for the biggest that you can find that fits your needs. This swap kind of goes back to the bottom one of, instead of getting 20 pacifiers and just saying, we're going to have them everywhere at all times, instead get 2, 3, maybe 5. With our first baby, we were really, really good about this. We had 2 pacifiers at home, and we faithfully kept track of them. We didn't let them get lost everywhere because we knew exactly where they were. One pacifier was used. The other one was in the bedroom in like the dresser as like a backup for emergencies if we really couldn't find that first pacifier. And then obviously if they go to daycare, you have one at daycare. If you want to keep one in the diaper bag, one in the diaper bag. So, within reason, but I would recommend being very limited. And the fewer you have at a time, the more you will keep track of them. I also recommend considering keeping pacifiers in limited places, like in the crib, in the car seat. Maybe they don't get them every day throughout the house all day. It's really not necessary. And it's a nice habit to start from the beginning if possible. Instead of buying little hand mittens for your newborn, for them scratching their face those early days, instead, I would recommend putting little socks on their hands. You could even get toddler socks for once they grow into those versus newborn socks, because I'm not a fan of newborn socks anyway. And then the other swap, even beyond that, is just getting full body sleepers that have the mitten cuff that you can just cuff over their hand. It's a one-stop shop if you do the full body suit with the built-in mittens. So that's my recommendation when you do register for baby sleepers, is get the ones with the built-in mittens. I would not buy mittens specifically, probably. Now, maybe somebody will hand some down to you, or maybe you get one pair, but I would be very limited on this. This is not something where you need a bunch. If you get them, get one pair and get gray. It'll match everything just fine. A medium to light gray. Problem solved. However, if you can skip them all together, I would skip them all together. I would swap out a toy chest for open shelving. Toy chests have no organization to them. They're where you throw toys. It's a pile. It's a mess. I'm very much in love with the Montessori open shelving style of displaying toys. I also am a huge fan of toy rotation, so they're not all out at once. Toys need to be appealing to our children. They don't need to be junk in a toy chest. So I would not get a toy chest for your baby. I would swap out getting so many new items with hand-me-downs and thrift store items. I love big and small items. I'm talking bouncer seats and things as small as like clothing. If it's something big like a bouncer seat or a rocker that's a hand-me-down, you're not going to stress as much about it getting dirty or about trying to resell it later and get a lot of money out of it, or storing it for your next child. When you get a hand-me-down item, you don't mind, maybe I'll just resell it for a few bucks, call it a day, and then when I have my next child, I'll buy another one that is a hand-me-down and then resell that one. And you don't feel the need to hang on to things quite as tightly. And then when it comes to clothing, I love getting a large amount of hand-me-down clothes, because then when they do get raspberry stains on them or have a blowout, I'm not upset. I'm like, it happens, no big deal. They wear a lot of those clothes to daycare or the Monday through Friday schedule at home with me, just basic days like that. And then a lot of times the new clothes that I do purchase for my babies, those are our weekend outfits. They're what we wear to cookouts and church and restaurants and places where I care a little bit more what they look like. It makes me more excited about those outfits because they're things that I picked myself and I love for them, versus their day-to-day clothes Monday through Friday. I'm not as worried about it. I would rather have that money saved through hand-me-downs or through consignment shop clothing and put that towards things in their future. Another baby swap would be to skip on the baby laundry detergent. If the laundry detergent I'm using isn't safe for a baby, then why am I using it? And also, if I'm doing loads of laundry of myself, my husband, towels, sheets, and a certain laundry detergent, and then I use a different detergent for our baby, I don't feel like that's quite going to do it because the residue that's already in the washer and in the dryer. So I would skip on the baby laundry detergent. Consider switching for your family as a whole if you don't feel like the one you're using is good for your baby. Maybe you need to make a swap overall for something that's a bit more like clear and natural and free of dyes and perfumes. So consider that. Okay, that is it for my baby swaps. A lot of these swaps are encouraging minimalism. They're encouraging you to save money. They're encouraging having less, fewer items, this and that, and really just simplifying life. So keep these things in mind and consider making some swaps. If you already have these items, that's okay. I'm not saying get rid of stuff. These are more so things to consider before you make your baby registry or before you bring items into your home. So good luck to you. Like, subscribe, comment any swaps that you think are amazing, your favorite one from this list, or ones that I missed that you think would be great to share with other new mamas. And hopefully I will see you back for another video very soon. Have a good one.